So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. The idea is very simple. We want you to revise your current affairs on a daily basis, and what better way to revise your current affairs than by getting the much needed MCQ practice from them. Because if you'll follow this lecture series regularly, you'll be covering 4 to 5 MCQs daily, and these 4 to 5 MCQs would add up, if covered on a daily basis, add up to more than 1200 MCQs. By the time you're ready for your prelims examination, you would have practiced 1200 MCQs, more than that, just from current affairs. I'm not talking about other static subjects. That will be covered separately. But just from current affairs, you would have practiced 1200 MCQs. Okay, so that's a good deal. You wouldn't have to worry about your prelims portion. You wouldn't have to worry about your prelims examination as far as current affairs are concerned. So make this lecture series a part of your daily routine. Make it a daily habit of yours. Now let's start today's lecture with question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding integrated food security phase classification. It is a globally recognized system of classifying the magnitude of food insecurity and malnutrition. It uses a 5-phase classification, with phase 1 being minimal food insecurity and phase 5 being a famine. One condition for formal declaration of a famine in an area is that 2 people or 4 under 5 children out of 10,000 are dying every day due to hunger. Okay. So integrated food security phase classification is a globally renowned system to declare food insecurity in an area or famine in an area. It is the most renowned, it is the most respected, and every country follows it. Okay. So first statement is correct. Now, based on this phase classification, okay, countries are divided into 5 groups, 5 phases. Phase 1, is where there is minimal food insecurity, okay, and phase 5 is famine. So from phase 1 to phase 5, food insecurity increases gradually, and phase 5 is the worst situation where a famine occurs. Okay, so this statement is also correct. Now, IPC, Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, basically says that if a particular region follows these 3 conditions, then a famine can be formally declared over there. One condition is if 20% households face severe lack of availability of food, okay, that they are sleeping with hunger, okay. So 20% of households have severe lack of availability of food. Okay. Then number 2 is, many, like 30% people, okay, are extremely malnourished. Clear? And third statement is that 2 or 4 under 5 children out of 10,000 are dying every day due to hunger. Okay. So third statement is that. So this is one such condition. Clear? So all 3 statements are correct. The answer is C. Question 2. Which of the following is correct regarding dementia? Dementia is a term used for several diseases that affect brain functioning. Alzheimer's and Parkinson's diseases are examples of dementia. Long-term exposure to air pollution increases the risk of developing dementia in the old age because of buildup of oxidative stress and brain inflammation. Okay. So when you are old, okay, in old age, many diseases happen, many disorders happen that impair your brain functioning. Either there is memory loss, lack of cognitive ability, lack of learning ability, okay, brain fog. So there are many diseases that impair your brain functioning. All such diseases are grouped in this category called dementia. Clear? So first statement is correct. Now, both Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease affect your brain, nervous system, central nervous system. So they are examples of dementia. A recent study has found that long-term exposure to air pollution increases your chances of developing dementia in old age. Because of long-term exposure to air pollutants, there is oxidative stress in your body, that is, free radicals accumulate in your body and your body is not detoxified and brain cells inflammate. Clear? So third statement is also correct. All statements are correct. The answer is D. Okay. Question number 3. Which of the following statements are correct regarding flash floods? It is the type of flooding that begins within 6 hours and often within 3 hours of heavy rainfall. Okay. More than 99% of flash floods in India occur during the monsoon season. For every 1 degree rise in atmospheric temperature, the atmosphere can hold about 7% more moisture, increasing the risk of flash floods. Okay. Now, the reason why flash floods were in the news was because in Himachal Pradesh, well, flash floods have occurred on a large scale and it has claimed more than 100 people's lives. Clear? Now, flash flood is that type of flood which occurs when there is extreme rainfall event. Okay? Whenever there is extreme rainfall, so much so that flooding begins within 6 hours. That is called flash floods. Flash means quick. Okay? Generally, flooding happens when, well, rainfall occurs for 7 days on the trot. Okay? 7 days continuously, 8 days continuously, then flooding occurs. Rivers swell up, nearby water channels swell up, and then flooding happens. But if there is extreme rainfall, then flooding happens within 6 hours. That is flash flooding. Clear? So, first statement is correct. Now, more than or around 75%, not more than, around 75% of flash floods in India occur during monsoon season. Okay? Rest 25% occur during mostly pre-monsoon season. So, it's not 99%, it's 75%. So, this statement is false. Now, it is being said that flash flood events are going to increase in number and intensity in future because of global warming. And the reason for that is that with every 1 degree Celsius rise in atmospheric temperature, the capacity of the atmosphere to hold more moisture increases by 7%. So if the air holds more moisture, whenever there is going to be rainfall, it is going to be extreme and severe. So global warming is also increasing the intensity of flash floods. So this is also correct. So 1 and 3 are correct. The answer is C. And last but not the least, consider the following statements regarding synthetic aperture radars in NISAR mission. Okay, NASA ISRO synthetic aperture radar mission. L-band SAR made by ISRO uses shorter wavelength microwaves and is able to penetrate deep into vegetation but can capture large features. S-band synthetic aperture radar uses longer wavelength and can penetrate deep into vegetation for imaging. Okay. So, the thing is, and last statement, yeah, of course. NISAR is the first satellite in history that is mounted by 2 radars. Alright. So, the thing is that synthetic aperture radars are used for Earth observation on satellites. Okay. The best part about these radars is that it can be used for Earth observation and Earth imaging, radar imaging, even during night time, even when there is cloudy weather. So, it's a better form of Earth observation. Most of the countries use these radars for their spy satellites. India also uses that. Okay. India has a satellite called RISAT, radar imaging satellite. Okay. We also have a satellite which uses synthetic aperture radars. Now, first time ever in the history of space science and aerospace, well, a satellite is being launched which will have 2 SARs in one satellite. And that is the collaborative joint mission between NASA and ISRO called NISAR mission. Okay. Now, L-band will be contributed by NASA and S-band synthetic aperture radar will be contributed by ISRO. So, 2 radars are going, one by NASA, which will make observations in L-band, and one by ISRO, which will make observations in S-band. Now, L-band is not made by ISRO, so first statement is false. Okay. It uses shorter, no longer wavelength. Okay. And is able to penetrate deep into the vegetation. So, first statement is completely wrong. S-band is being made by ISRO and it uses shorter wavelength and it cannot penetrate deep. Clear? So, both first and second statements are false. But yes, NISAR is the first satellite in history that is mounted by 2 radars. This part is correct. Now, the question asks which of the above statements are not correct. 1 and 2 only are not correct. The answer is A. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But I say this every time. It will add more value if you revise this lecture as well. Why? Well, because revision will help you consolidate these MCQs in your memory. Now, by revision, I mean taking a good look at written detailed solutions to each and every MCQ discussed above. Now, these solutions are available in our notes, and these notes are available on our Telegram channel. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section just below this video. On that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of MCQs. Thank you, everyone.